sneaker, man. Catch me in all sneakers, man. Nike, J's, Adidas, Pumas, cause I'm getting sneakers, man. Sneaker, man. Let's see if I can get this video out this time. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Steak Hop and Kicks. My name is That Dude Curtis. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me right now, and I appreciate that. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. And with that said, let's get into today's video. 2022 is finally ending. This has been a crazy year, a lot of ups and downs, and I figured it would be as good a time as any to go through and show you guys my entire sneaker collection. This is also a time for me to inventory my sneakers. So let's see if we find some classics or some buried treasure or just something that I need to get rid of. The way I'm going to try to do this video is not only just counting the shoes, but also trying to organize them into categories based on what they are. So if they're retro Jordans, going in order of the ones that I have, as well as if there are other shoes that I have multiple pairs in the family series, putting those pairs together as I go through just to help with the inventory process. And then as I go through these shoes, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information about each shoe and what I remember about when I got it or why it's important to me. Well, I figured we might as well start with some beaters. This is a 2011 Jordan 11 IE model. I got this back in, like I said, 2010, 2011, whenever it dropped. This was one of the shoes that brought me back into collecting. It was the first cop I was able to cop online, relatively easy. So this was before the retro boom really started. Plus the IE model was never super popular, but it was always popular with me. This was a work shoe for me. I used to wear it at a retail establishment that I managed, and I wore it all the time, rocked it. It matched the colors of the place, and it was just very comfortable. And over time, became my go-to for cutting grass, helping out around the house, just whatever I needed to do. Beater number 2 is the 2090 Air Max model. This was the Air Max model for, I believe, 2020, maybe 2021. Can't really remember. People don't seem to care for the Air Max line like they once did, but I did like this shoe, and I was able to get it on clearance from Nike. It was a good shoe for the time I used it. A good walking shoe. As you can see, I pretty much walked the tread off of it. There were a lot of dope colorways of it. I just stuck with the OG colorway of this shoe. And then my final beater, you guys have seen this if you watched any of my reels or shorts, is the Air Jordan 1 Yin Yang black version. This shoe, I remember getting it whenever it dropped. I got it. Actually, was able to get it on clearance, which again used to be the goal for sneakers, as well as Jordan 1s. You could always get them for the low. I got it from Shoe Palace, and this just became a go-to, man. Standard black and white Air Jordan. I could wear it with anything. During the days of the pandemic, this became again a work shoe that I used to just wear to work when they let us wear jeans and stuff. And just I still wear it. Like when I step outside, just throw it on real quick. It's broken in, just feels good. Obviously, it's wearing away right there a little bit, so I'll probably need to get the outsole replaced or just get a new or replacement for the shoe at some point. But other than that, fantastic Jordan model. Love it. Another beater we got here, Nike Air Huarache. This is in the OG colorway. The Huarache, again, is one of my favorite shoes all time. It just makes me think about being a kid, makes me think about being a dad, as this was my dad's go-to shoe for years and years. Like I said, he sold shoes and knew a ton about shoes and swore by the Huarache. So I've always wanted to get a pair, loved having this, and then I, again, felt more like a dad and him, wearing these, barbecuing or taking my daughter to Disney, that kind of stuff. Next up, we have the T-Mac 1 in the St. Vincent St. Mary Lebron colorway. This is a shoe that is LeBron PE. There's the 23 on the back from his days in high school. When he was an Adidas athlete, of course, wearing the green and gold for St. Vincent St. Mary. And, as a LeBron fan, when they dropped this PE, wanted to make sure that I was able to get it. I just think it's a cool looking shoe. The T-Mac 1 was always a popular Adidas shoe. And then, again, having it in the LeBron colorways, you can't go wrong with that. This is the Adidas Ultra Boost with the Lego collab. Easily one of my favorite collabs. Again, I'm a big Lego fan. and I really liked the Ultra Boost in general. The only thing I didn't like about this is the fact that these bricks were not in system. I thought that would have been cool, especially because on a larger size like my shoe, it would have worked, and it would have been cool if you could like build this up. There is a version of the shoe that does have include its own bricks, but again, they're not in system. So you couldn't like take those bricks and use them on a Lego set or pull other bricks to add additional custom elements. But nonetheless, cool shoe. While my daughter doesn't have this pair, she does have her own pair of Adidas Lego shoes. Um, and you know, it's always fun, family fun. We wear these, especially when we go to Lego conventions. Next, we got the Dame 5 Black Panther. This is from the release of the first Black Panther movie. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Dead stock pair. This Nike had a brief collab with Adidas where they were doing shoes based off of different Adidas athletes and different superheroes. I thought the Black Panther pair was the coolest one, which is why I picked it up. Dame's an excellent player, another cool Adidas model. Very true to the Black Panther theme, and you know, he has the Wakanda Forever on the back. Dope shoe. Another classic Adidas model for those who believe Adidas didn't have any heat before Yeezy. The Adidas Superstar is one of my all-time favorite silhouettes. I fell in love with the shoe during its renaissance in the mid-90s, and the Superstar is just a classic shoe that you should always have around in your collection. You can easily dress it up or dress it down, and it's usable and wearable in multiple situations. This is the Adidas EQT 9117. It's a remake of a Adidas shoe from 1991, but now with the Ultra Boost added to it. Very comfortable. Probably one of my favorite Ultra Boost Adidas. I like the sleekness of the look rather than the other ones that kind of look like a banana shape. The boost in the back, and people in general have a love or hate relationship with the thickness of it, but I like it. Great shoe for me. Very comfortable. This is definitely a controversial pick in the Sean Wotherspoon Super Earth Adidas model. This is an Adidas model that I was always a fan of, and with the Sean Wotherspoon deconstructed flea market type of material they added, just like where you just find sustainable material and you build something out of it. I thought it was an interesting take. I like it. It's very different. It's not for everyone. I mean, shoot, it's not for me often because, you know, obviously a shoe like this, you can't wear it with any and everything. But, you know, I like the message behind it and I like what he did. I want to see more from him. I know not everyone feels the same way, or some people were like, you need to come back to Nike. But I like the fact that he's been able to experiment and do more things. Not everything's got to just be a Nike shoe in a different colorway. Some collabs need to be a little bit more than that. One of the next shoes in my collection, the Social Status Penny 1. I really wanted to cop the Orlando Penny, but wasn't able to. Social Status kind of fills the void, especially when you remove the Velcro swoosh and reveal the blue undertone. It looks as close as you can get to an Orlando Penny. So fills that void. I really enjoyed it. I like this collab a lot. It's one of my favorites. Next, we got the Social Status Penny 2. Again, another shoe in that collab. I like the darker colors better than the lighter ones that they released. Although I do kind of like the light version of the Penny 2 that they did with the white and the more pronounced Carolina or baby blue, university blue, whatever you want to call it. So I may want to look at getting that later on, but this was one of my favorite collabs of the year, one of my favorite shoes of the year, and just an awesome job overall. This is the 2014 Penny 1 in the all black colorway. This is my first pair of Penny 1s, as I was never able to get Penny 1s as a kid. This one has started to yellow a little bit, but that's okay. But the shoe, great shoe overall. It was a good retro of the Penny 1. Captured everything I remembered and the reasons why, you know, I wanted it. Here is the Penny 1 in the home colorway. This was the shoe that I wanted more than anything. Like I said, this was the one I was begging my parents and trying to make deals to get in this colorway, because I was always a big fan of the white colorways. The black colorway was, you know, secondary in this case, but this is the one that I really wanted. So glad that they finally retroed it after 27 years and that I have it in my collection. Here's the Penny 2 in the home colorway. There was a crazy story about me getting this shoe. It was just a big cluster, but I'm glad to have it. I do like the Penny 2 better in the away or the Orlando colorway. I think that's what they call it. Whatever. But in the black and white colorway. But this one's still a good shoe. Very cool to have. Looks good with any Penny merchandise as well as Stay Cotton Kicks merchandise. Here's the foam posit in the royal blue colorway. Love this shoe from the first moment I saw it. I used to draw it all the time. I had the Nike ads on my wall. This was just such a cool shoe, and Penny did some amazing work in it. So it's always been a favorite of mine, and this was a grail piece for me for a long time. Glad to finally have it in my collection and just be able to enjoy it. Next to the royal colorway, the most on-the-nose foam posit colorway had to be the copper version. You know, his name is Penny. Why not make one that looks like a penny? And then finally, the foam posit in the eggplant colorway. If you couldn't get royal, this was the next best thing. It still looks good with blue products and whatnot, but obviously that purple really is set off with the Penny Phoenix gear. Now this right here, the Air Penny 3. This is the release from last year. Air Penny 3 is one of my favorite models, especially to me because this is the last pair of shoes that my dad bought me. You know, especially the last pair of expensive shoes he bought me. Like, after he stopped selling and working for shoe companies, he never bought me any shoes anymore, or any high dollar shoes, because he used to get them on discount. So once you get used to paying things on discount, why are you gonna pay full price? But he got these for me when they dropped. I think it was because I was doing well in school and I needed some new shoes. And you know, I never forget wearing these the first time and just being so hyped, because you know, I was the only person who had the all black colorway. And just, you know, being the topic of conversation when you walk into the classroom, or even the teachers looking at your shoes, you know, and you got the polo shirt on that matches with the blue horsey on it, just to hit that highlight. So great shoe, great retro. I wish I could have doubled up, but you know, because of everything with COVID, this was extremely hard to get in general. But I was glad I was able to get a pair. Sticking on the Air Penny 3. This is the Air Penny 3 in the eggplant colorway, or you can call it Phoenix colorway. Again, I picked these up because I was really concerned that I wasn't going to get the black ones. So I wanted to have at least one pair of Air Pennies 3s in my collection. Thankfully, I was able to get these and then able to get the black ones. So these work well with, obviously, that eggplant. You know, so purple Suns jerseys, especially if the Suns Penny jersey, that kind of stuff. There we have the Penny 4. Penny 4 was the last Penny model that Penny officially played with during the NBA, if I remember correctly. It could be mistaken. No, that's correct, because he did not play in the Penny 5s. This shoe was also the last shoe he played with the Orlando Magic in. Here's the Air Penny 5 in the home colorway. Penny Hardaway never played with this shoe, but if he did play it, this is definitely a colorway that he would have worn with the Orlando Magic. I think he did a really good job. It has the pinstripes on the tongue that feel like that old classic Magic jersey. Just the paneling, the colors, the elements that feel like a continuation of that Penny line from the early days. And I think it was a good addition to his line. I wish his line could have gone further, and in a lot of ways I wish it would continue. Next up, we have an Air Force One custom from Nike ID. This is a custom that I made for my birthday, and I got it in the Stay Cotton Kicks colorway. And I call this the Abbey Road, although some people say it looks like a Travis Scott. I actually designed this well before anything with the Travis Scott ones were in existence, but you know, it happens. Colorways are similar across the board on different shoes, but I really like it. I have the sail midsole, the sail swoosh, although it's hard to tell. You might be able to tell in the video. And then I swapped out the laces for some royal and then some sail laces that were a little bit darker than the ones that came in the shoe, because the ones that came with the Nike ID were almost white. So overall, great shoe. If you want to build some heat that's exclusive to yourself, I always tell people, hey, check out Nike ID. They often have some OGs and some classic releases. Hopefully one day it gets back to the greatness that it once was, but you can still make some cool stuff that's just for you. Next up, we got the Summer Everything Lauren Halsey Air Force One. This is a model that came out a few years ago. It's actually dead stock. I haven't broke it out yet. But it was created by a black artist from Inglewood, California. And since I'm originally from Inglewood, I definitely liked that aspect and wanted to support it. And, you know, I looked at her art. She's phenomenal. And this just was a cool model. It has a lot of cool design elements, from the Velcro swooshes that can be removed to a 3M strap that also can be removed and was replaced with a clear strap that's included. And then, of course, it's got the Pan-African colors with the red, green, and black. And it's just all about loving your neighborhood, loving your community. And, you know, Lauren did a fantastic job on this shoe. And, you know, it's one of my favorites in my collection. And again, I just haven't had a chance to break it out. Usually want to break it out during Black History Month or just in general. And, you know, I'll try to make sure I make an excuse to do it this year. I almost forgot I had these. These are technically some more beaters, but these are the Huarache DNA 1. Nike had done a brief thing where they had swapped the colorway and the paneling design on Huaraches and Air Max 1s because they were both around the same time, had similar DNA. So this was the white and blue Huarache that was decked out in paneling that matches an Air Max 1 in white and blue. Again, during the pandemic, this was my go-to. Used to wear this shoe almost every day. And, you know, Huaraches, like I said, I live by them. This isn't as comfortable as the newer like I don't know want to call them remasters, but re-releases of the OG colorways. But this still was an excellent model. My favorite Air Max 1 of this year, the Air Max 1 Blueprint. This was an Air Max Day drop. And like I say, it reminded me of the Blueprint album from Jay-Z, which is the biggest reason I felt like I had to get it. Just an awesome colorway, awesome execution. Another shoe I forgot I had, the Air Max 90 in the Volt colorway. This is dead stock. This shoe came out a few years ago during the anniversary period of time. Fantastic shoe, very well done. Just haven't really got a chance to wear it. Here's the Air Max 3 anniversary pair, or as most people call it now, the Air Max 90. This was a special retro where they updated the specifications, try to get it even closer to the OG. I got these a few years ago when my daughter was very young. Where I got myself these and got my wife and daughter matching pairs of a different colorway. I don't actually think we ever got to wear them together, but at least I know my wife and daughter got to do their matchy thing. But the Air Max 3, Air Max 90, favorite shoe of mine. You know, great memories of it, especially from college. Glad to have it in the collection, even though if I don't pull it out enough. This is the Nike Air Max Day anniversary Air Max 1 from a few years ago. This was done to pay tribute to the original Air Max 1 and Air Max 1 colorway. The design of the shoe is a little bit different. As I said, it's updated for comfort and styling, but it still gives you that Air Max 1 vibes, and again has the Air Max Day branding on it. This is the Atmos collab with Nike on the Air Max 1. Again, the standard blue colorway. I love blue, is my favorite. I especially like the design of this one, as it has all the shoe boxes on it, which, you know, looks like my closet in my room. So I thought this was a cool little shoe, cool little tribute to the heritage of Nike footwear. Here is the Have a Nike Day Air Max 1. This came out a few years ago for Nike Day. I like the color block. The colors are very vibrant and they really pop. I like the little smiley face on it, smiley face on the back. It's a cute shoe. You know, it's the soft pastel colors really work with springtime and summer. So, okay. Forgive me, I don't remember exactly what this one was called, but I believe it's an Air Max 90 Ultra. This is in a white fly knit colorway. You know, great shoe for summer. I remember picking this up, and it was also nice because I had a small pair of Air Max 90s for my daughter, and I think we got to rock them at least one time together, so that's always cute. And then here is the Air Max 1 Just Do It. I believe that's what it was called. I mean, that's what's written on it. But there was a big campaign, where a big marketing push where they were bringing back a lot of Nike branding and just throwing it on different products and shoes and whatnot. And I thought this one, with all the different Just Do It mottos and logos and like things that look like shoe boxes and branding, I just thought it was a cool shoe. It has a hoodie that goes with it. And there's a whole bunch of other merchandise. And like I said, one of my favorite designs on the Air Max. Right here, we have the Reebok Question, which was Allen Iverson's first shoe. This shoe looks like it's the red toe variant, but it's actually not. This was part of a special pack they had where one shoe had the red toe and the other one had the blue toe. I just thought that was really cool. So This was one shoe. It was inspired by the Jordan 11 because, again, as I mentioned, that's what Iverson loved wearing at Georgetown. You can see the inspiration in this shoe with a lot of design elements, and it's probably my favorite Reebok of all time. And it's only the only Reebok I currently have in my collection, funny enough. So when it comes to Chicago's, here's one of the Chicago pairs I have. This is the Jordan 1.5 in the Chicago colorway. A lot of people don't like the 1.5, or the return as they call it. This was a shoe that was based off of a prototype that Michael Jordan wore after he had his foot injury, where they replaced the outsole and midsole with what would become the Jordan 2 midsole and outsole. I think it's a cool piece of history. Slight differences in the Wings logo. It says Nike instead of Jordan. But other than that, this was a shoe that, like I said, it sat for a while. All the colors sat. I picked up a couple different pairs. I've gotten rid of them since, but I kept the Chicago ones, and I would like to see it return. I know I'm probably alone, but again, I don't have a problem with hybrids, especially if when there's history behind them and their existence. My last Chicago is Jordan 1 Chicago Low Golf. This is a recent release that what they just did. They've been doing the Jordan 1s in the traditional non-fat styling, but with a golf bottom. I have dabbled in golf. It's been a while since I've been on a course or at a driving range, but figured this was as good a time as any to pick some up, especially since my old golf shoes were falling apart. And a good buddy of mine who stays copping golf shoes definitely told me to pick it up and put me on. We've got the Jordan 1 in the bread colorway. Just not much to say about it. Jordan 1 is classic. Bread is colorway is classic. The band, not really band. Of course, it was the airship, but just a cool piece to have in your collection. Here's the Flyknit Jordan 1 band. I really like the Flyknit designs. This was the first Flyknit Jordan 1 that they made. First one I picked up. It's got the wax laces, and it's just a cool take on the Jordan 1. It still has all the elements that you expect on a Jordan 1. It almost looks like a winter sweater, which is something I like about it. It's very comfortable, probably one of the more comfortable Jordan 1s, and it's very breathable. So it's better during the summer. Just nice shoe all around. All right, here are the Jordan 1s in, as I call it, the Stay Cop and Kicks colorway. That's basically the main reason I had to pick these up. I mean, again, I love the traditional Chicago color blocking. Blue is my favorite color, and with this matching my branding was a must-have. Here's Jordan 1 in the turbo green colorway. This is an interesting colorway because this shoe sat initially. I wasn't even going to pick it up, but it kept sitting. I kept looking at it, and I started liking it more and more, and eventually I picked it up. And now the shoe goes for crazy amounts on resale. Don't get it. The tongue was always weird to me. Like I didn't get where that color came from. Some people said it was references to the Hornets. Who knows? But I thought this was a really cool model. I really wanted to get the turbo blue version. Unfortunately, that one sold out like crazy, and it's going for crazy resale. But the materials on it is good, quality's good, and just a unique take with some of the details and how they shaped it on the Jordan 1. Next, I got the Amamier Jordan 1, probably my favorite Jordan 1. This is a shoe that initially I kind of slept on a little bit, but when I saw it up close, the more I saw it, when I read the story behind it, this easily became a must-have and is a favorite of mine in my collection. Next up, we got the Jordan 1 Center Court. This is the black and white version. This is a shoe that people went crazy about when they first saw it show up in The Last Dance. It's basically a Jordan 1 version of a Stan Smith. And I think it's a cool shoe. I like it. It's a casual shoe, but you can also dress it up. Last time I wore it to my friend Joe's wedding. And fun fact, Joe's actually the one who got me back into sneakers. So shout out to Joe and his wife. And yeah, I just think it's a clean shoe that you can do a lot with. It's something you can wear in more professional settings and work settings that shows that you still got a little connection to the culture that people may not be expecting. So I really like that about it. Arguably the best Jordan 1 release of the year, the Jordan 1 Craft. This is another shoe that I liked it so much, I made sure I copped a pair for me and my daughter. I just love the deconstructed look of this. The colors really pop, and it's something that's wearable in a lot of different situations. And because y'all hate mid so much, it's fairly easy to get. So I'm not sure if that's still the case, but if you can, go out and cop a pair. Here we have the white Jordan 1 center court. Again, this is the last dance shoe that Michael Jordan was wearing throughout the documentary. Basically, Jordan's version of a Stan Smith. Already saw the black version, it's the white version. Great summer shoe. This is the Jordan 1 in the royal and black Flyknit colorway. Pretty much the same as the bread version. Big fan of what they did. Since I like the bread, picked up the royal. The last of the Flyknit Jordan 1s in my collection. This is the Black History Month Jordan 1 Flyknit. I really like this. It's got the Pan-African flag colors on the bottom and on the tongue, and that makes up the shoe. The vibes of the shoe, it's very similar to the Tribe Called Quest Jordan 1 that was released years ago, which was a grail of mine. So this was like the closest that I'd probably ever get to having that shoe. I swapped out the laces with some pure leather laces with some gold tips, and I just think this is a clean shoe. Again, all the standard Flyknit stuff that goes with it, about the comfort and the breathability of it. And I just think that it's extra stylish with the colors and the laces. And here's one of my favorite pairs of Jordan 1s in addition to the Royals. Um, this is the black and gray Jordan 1, or the shadow colorway. As a Spurs fan, you know, you can't go wrong with black and gray, black and silver. In general, you can't go wrong black and gray, black and silver. It's just a easy to pair, easy to match. I mean, shoot, I could match it with this sweatshirt right or sweater right now if I wanted to. So always like that about it. And you know, it's a Jordan 1, easy to break in, looks good when it's broken in, comfortable. Next up with the Jordan 1, we got the UNC to Chicago. This is a women's shoe that did come in extended sizes. Normally when it comes to women's shoes, I try to leave them alone, let the ladies have them. This one I didn't pick up until, I think it was weeks later, I was able to get it. So, you know, I always make sure that the ladies have an opportunity to get the heat that's designed for them, especially if it's something that, you know, potentially guys are going to like as well. Here's the Biohazard Jordan 1. Initially when I saw this colorway, didn't really do it for me, but it was one of those where I hit on it later on a restock, and the more I see it, the more I love it. And it's a shoe that always turns heads, and when you put it on feet, people love it, and they're always like, man, I should have never passed on those. I forget what this is called, or beyond the, I think it was Bloodline 2.0 at one point. I love the neutral gray elements of the shoe. The upper gives it a kind of a union vibe. Some people have customized it to fit that theme more, as well as switching out laces and stuff. I kind of like it just the way it is. So pretty cool shoe. I like the duality of it. And actually, and having it in person, when I got it, the color's kind of loud, and I haven't really been able to put together the fits. I mean, I've put together some fits with it, but nothing that makes me want to consistently wear the shoe. So I've only worn it like once or twice. But in general, I think, like I said, all the Gatorade colors look good. I think I would have liked it even more if it just had like traditional color blocking. It's got the Gatorade on the translucent outsole. It's got a special Gatorade insole, the lightning bolt on the back, as well as a special hang tag. And I think there was a towel that came with it, but I can't remember if the towel came with my Jordan 6 or not. This is the Jordan 2 in the Wing It colorway. The Wing It was a advertising campaign and poster that was released for the Jordan 2. I had it when I was a kid, and I just loved that poster. I always used to look at it. So when they made a shoe that was essentially dedicated to it, I kind of just had to pick it up. It just has your standard Jordan 2 trimmings. The biggest difference is, again, on the back, one shoe says Wing and the other shoe says It. Very cool design. I would like to see them do more things like that, that explore that history, kind of like with the Gatorades. Here's the JTH Jordan 3. The JTH stands for Justin Timberlake Tinker Hatfield. This was a special Jordan 3 decked out in a modified white cement like colorway for Justin Timberlake that he performed in at the Super Bowl. The differences are, of course, the gray collar, the swoosh, and there's Nike on the opposite side. I would prefer to have a traditional Jordan 3 in this white cement colorway. They have a version coming out next year. I do not like the vintage look of it, but it may be the only option. Here's Jordan 3 decked out in white and red, or the Katrina colorway. They call it that because it was created for a charity giveaway to help raise money for victims of Hurricane Katrina. It's essentially a white cement Jordan 3, but instead of black right here, it's got red. I do sometimes think about converting this to a white cement Jordan 3 and even swapping out the Jumpman in the back for the Nike Air. Here is the Jordan 3 in the black cement colorway. Black cement is easily one of my favorite colorways in the Jordan 3, next to the white cement and the true blue colorway. This was a release that came out, I think it was 2017. I can't remember, but liked it. Think they did a good job overall. Nike Air on the back. Just it's a black cement 3. Here is a black version of the Tinker Hatfield Jordan 3. This one is a more premium looking version. It's got a 3M swoosh and 3M elements on the upper. It's got the gold highlights with the gold signature, black Nike Air on the back, along with black elephant print. This shoe, it's just, I thought it was really cool, because it's kind of like a more premium take on the black cement 3, but with some slightly different elements. Just helps you switch up the look a little bit. Almost blacked out, but not quite. The true blue 3s. Now, in general, this is one of my favorite colorway of 3s. This is the release from a few years back. Unfortunately, this release wasn't that great. There were just quality issues, stiffness, shape issues, but overall, it's still not terrible. I've seen much worse, and it still captures the elements that I like most about the shoe, and wearing it. So if I recall correctly, this is the first shoe that I caught when I got back into sneakers. And this is the 2014 Air Jordan 3 Infrared. This is also a reason why I don't need fake vintage on my 3s or anything else. This is only a few years old. It's already yellowing on there. The front is yellowed. The midsole parts are yellowing. I don't need it to be like that. This Jordan 3, I like it less now than I did initially. Obviously, they didn't quite have the shape back then, especially compared to the models released under the remastered program. But the colorway was an interesting take, had elements very similar to white cement, but also, especially if you look at the outsole and midsole area, but then it also has elements that are very similar to, like, combining the black cement with, you got the black tongue and whatnot. Jumpman on the back. And this is a shoe, like I said, I don't like it nearly as much as I once did, but it's still, this is the shoe that got me back into sneakers. And the funny thing is, this shoe actually came with one of those little booklets that they don't do all the time, that had explanations of the tech in the Jordan 3. So they need to bring those things back, especially with future retros. And then here's the Jordan 3 in the mocha colorway. I just thought this was a very clean looking Jordan 3. I like the elements of just the all white, and the only hints of color are coming from that mocha, with the replaced elephant print and the outsole. Just a nice looking shoe. I replaced the laces with some white leather laces with silver to match the holes down here. I think that helps it really pop. And I always get a lot of compliments when I break out this 3. This is probably the 3 that gets the most compliments from my collection. Here we have the white cement Jordan 4. The white cement Jordan 4 is one of my favorite Jordan 4s. This is the one that released a few years ago. I picked it up for my birthday. Classic silhouette, classic colorway, probably my all-time favorite version of the Jordan 4. And here's the Jordan 4 in the black cement colorway. This is, in a lot of people's opinion, one of the greatest Air Jordan models of all time. It's a favorite of mine, but again, I prefer the white cement version of the Jordan 4. But again, it's nice to have this in the collection. This was the release from a few years ago, which was a pretty good release overall. They did a good job with the shape and just the paneling and everything. Just a nice Jordan 4. These were dead stock at the bottom of the closet. I knew I had them, but I don't think about them because I need to pull them out. But of course, standard Jordan 5, OG colorway, classic. Not much more to say about it. And here's Jordan 5 in the black colorway. I'm looking at it now, and I do see where the netting is starting to yellow on it a little bit in some places. But, this is classic Jordan 5. Beautiful shoe. I prefer Jordan 5 in the darker colors as opposed to the light colors. But, if the right colorway hits this shoe, it can really set off. The Jordan 6 has always been one of my favorite silhouettes. And as a Spurs fan, I always wanted one that would match the Spurs jerseys. You know, whenever I would play the NBA video games, I would always design a chrome version like this. In real life, the closest I got to having the chrome was always just the low tops that they released twice. I've had both of those releases. So to finally see this come to fruition in a high top was a great thing. Glad to have it in my collection. All right, right here is the Jordan 6 in the Bordeaux colorway. The Jordan 7 Bordeaux is easily one of my favorite shoes. Jordan 6 is another favorite shoe. So the mix mash of those colorways, I thought it was an awesome idea. I love it. And, you know, it's another shoe where I picked up a pair for my daughter. We got to do some daddy-daughter matching a couple times before she outgrew it. But I just think it's a cool shoe. Nice to have, especially, you know, I can switch in and out of these in my regular Bordeauxs. All right, next up, we have the Air Jordan 6. So again, much like the Bordeaux, the Hair Jordan colorway is a fantastic colorway on the Jordan 7. It's actually my favorite version of the Jordan 7. And they moved it to the 6. I think it looks really good. This is a dead stock pair. I definitely need to break it out. But I especially like the lace lock that kind of looks like a carrot. Sometimes I dream that he is me. This is the Jordan 6 in the Gatorade colorway. We all love that classic Gatorade commercial as a kid, and this colorway just exemplifies that. Using the carmine blocking and just adding those Gatorade elements, including the lace lock that now looks like a Gatorade bottle. I thought Jordan Brand did a fantastic job with this model in general and the whole Gatorade collab as a whole. One of my absolute favorite releases, the Air Jordan 6 in the Carmine colorway with the Nike Air on the back finally. Was really excited when this came out. Thankfully, I got a pair that didn't have the pink midsole, and I was able to cop a pair for my daughter too. So we're wearing these at Disney. I don't remember the name of this shoe exactly, but this is another dead stock Jordan 6. This is from I think it was the Reflections of a Champion pack or something like that, where basically they redid Jordan's first 3 championship shoes with 3M uppers. So the upper on this you should be seeing it reflect is all 3M. From far away, it just looks silver or gray, but it is 3M. And this shoe is based off of the infrared Jordan 6. You also have one that was based off the Cardinal 7, and then one of the Bugs Bunny 8s. Here's a Jordan 6 in the denim colorway. I was going to make some adjustments to it and kind of do a custom on it. I started, if you look at it, you can see the leather is very distressed looking now. Or not the leather, the denim is very distressed looking. I swapped out the laces for these sand or sail looking laces, and I was going to add just some other details to it. Never got a chance to finish. Definitely, I always thought this was an interesting take. I think it would have done better if it had been a Levi's or official collab like the Jordan 4, but I think it was a dope shoe, and I think it had potential, especially for customization. Here's a sport blue Jordan 6. This is one of my favorite colorways back from the original 91 run, and it took until 2014 for it to return in this colorway. Hopefully we'll be getting another retro soon that will add the Nike Air on the back. This is also the shoe that when my wife went to, or she wasn't my wife at the time, but when we went to the shoe store together to get it, she was like, "Don't you need to try it on?" And everybody in the store was looking at me and laughing. It was a funny situation. But, you know, as being a fan of blue, I always liked the idea of Jordans in blue, not just because of Carolina, but just something different, and that being my favorite color. Next, we got the University Blue and Black Jordan 6. Again, the infrared Jordan 6, the black infrared, to be more specific, is one of my favorite shoes all time. So I definitely like when they just do simple twists, because sometimes that's all it takes. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So adding University Blue on here for Carolina, dope touch, just adds a new element to the shoe. So here it is, the black and infrared Jordan 6. You know, one of my all-time favorites, a shoe that I have tons of memory of having as a kid, from having the black and infrared to having the white infrared version as well. Always loved the Jordan 6. This is the shoe that made me a sneakerhead, period. And, you know, I love it. This most recent retro was really well done and just an overall classic shoe that more people need to show love to. Or, you know, actually, the right amount of people are showing love because it makes it easier to cop right now. Now, here is the Jordan 6 in the Paris Saint Germain infrared colorway. So this has color blocking similar to the Carmine or the most recent Jordan 6 with the UNC that they did. I really like it because again, it's has those black infrared elements, but also the smoky outsole, the smoky tongue with the infrared hits on it, and just a special logo on the back. You know, very cool Jordan 6 that can be be used in substitution of the infrared if I need to. So right here we got the maroon Jordan 6. Now this 6 right here is one that I wanted for so long. I used to see it in the catalogs along with the sport blue when I was a kid, and I was like, I wanted both of those too. Never got them. Now, much like the sport blue 6, for whatever reason, Jordan Brand kept this in the vault for years and years. He even got into an argument randomly at the store one time, where this dude was claiming he had it and he was gonna sell it to me for, it was dead stock, and he was gonna sell it to me for like 200. I'm like, dude, number one, you don't have that shoe because it hasn't been retroed in 20 years. Two, if you had the shoe and it was dead stock and it was wearable, you wouldn't be selling it for $200. Get out of my face. But anyway, this was a very clean retro release and remaster. I think they did a fantastic job on it. One of my favorite Jordan 6s, just perfect all around. Love it. Now here's the Jordan 6 in the black and chrome, but the low top version. This is the second time I had this shoe from originally in college. Again, this is a colorway that I always wanted on the Jordan 6. I wasn't a fan of it being on the low top, but Jordan 6 was Jordan 6. You took what you could get at the time. I do wish that they would modify the tongue on the Jordan 6 low to look more like a traditional Jordan 6. I think that's the element that is hurting this shoe the most in terms of looking like a Jordan 6 and carrying that legacy through. One of my all-time favorite Jordan 6s, the DMP model. Again, I couldn't get the DMP collection when it initially dropped, but I love the idea of the 6 and 11 because they were two of my favorite models. So when they released the 6 on its own, had to get it. Initially, I doubled up. I think I got rid of the second pair, traded it for something, but nice to have in the collection and even better to pair with my chrome ones now. This is a shoe that I would definitely probably either be getting customized or selling them or giving them away or something. But anyway, this is a Jordan 7 baseball cleat. I got these on clearance at Dick's Sporting Goods. I think I paid, I want to say like 30, 40 bucks for them. The Jordan 7 is one of my favorite models, and I play softball for my company. And I had these where I was like, I could always wear them for that. Unfortunately, with softball, they won't let you wear the metal cleats, so couldn't really use them for that. I was thinking about maybe doing like a sole swap on them and just turn them into like a blacked out version of the Jordan 7, which I think would be cool. So I might still do that, or might sell them to someone who does play baseball, who loves Jordans, and can really take advantage of them. Next, we have the true Air Jordan 7. This was a special edition they made. The design looked like Bugs Bunny, and it's got the actual fur hair on it. Very interesting concept. I liked it. I picked it up. Actually, it's dead stock, so I need to pull it out or get rid of it or something. But definitely interesting version. All right, here is the original Air Jordan 7. This again is my favorite version of the Jordan 7. I love the color blocking of it. I love the outsole of the Jordan 7. That's another one that just sticks out in my mind. And this was a great retro from a few years ago. Still looks good. And I like the Jordan 6 version interpretation, but nothing beats the King. Speaking of Jordan 6 interpretations, here is the Bordeaux 7. This Bordeaux I got actually on clearance from Nike. I think it was like a B grade or something, because if you look at the toe box, the toe box is very bubbly on this shoe in particular. Never liked it, but again, beggars can't be choosers. That was the only way I could get it at the time. And other than that, shoe looks great. And when it's on feet and you're moving around, it's not really noticeable. It's just something that you notice when you're just looking at the shoe. Now here is the Jordan 7 in the playoff colorway, or the Shrug Gang colorway, not Raptor. The Jordan 7, this is the one like I said, I had this as a kid as well. And I remember messing it up because this part right here got caught in my bike chain. And I flipped my bike, scraped my knee, and then I had to cut this off in order to, get the shoe off the chain. And I hated that. But hopefully I won't have to cut it off of this one or anything. Because people don't like sevens that much in general, here's a 7 release that got slept on a lot. This is the Air Jordan 7, and I'm gonna call it the Bucks colorway, or the Ray Allen PE, because he was a Jordan Brand athlete then, so he may have wore this as PE. I can't remember, but this is essentially a black Jordan 7, with all the colors replaced to be Bucks colors. So looks good with the green and purple. Materials are pretty decent on it. The shaping was pretty decent. And again, another pair I was able to get on clearance because, y'all don't really like Jordan 7s. Here's the Jordan 8 in the aqua colorway. The Jordan 8 is one of my least favorite silhouettes in the line. But the aqua colorway, it just sets it off right, man. And I had a version of the baby aquas for my daughter when she was an infant, and I think we got to wear them one time, but who knows. But I really like the aqua. I always like that tongue design on this one, and like I said, just the way the colors hit look perfect as a Charlotte Hornets fan with Hornets gear. Now, this Jordan 8 was nicknamed South Beach, but it really has nothing to do with South Beach. This is actually in reference to the All-Star game that took place in San Antonio. So these are Fiesta colors. So that's the reason why I picked this up, mainly because of the Spurs Fiesta colors. I love those colors. I think they look good. I'm not a huge fan of white Air Jordan 8s. This one, depending on the day, I like it more than other days. It did come with some additional laces, if I remember correctly, in some of the Fiesta colors. But overall, it's probably, a lower tier 8 for me. But again, 8s are on the lower end of the spectrum for me. I just realized I don't have any Jordan 9s in my collection right now. So let's head over to Jordan 10. Here's the Jordan 10 in the Chicago colorway with the 45 on the side. So here's Jordan 10 in the stealth colorway. I'm not a huge fan of 10s, but I do like them, the main OG colorways, as well as one or two of the city editions in some of those white, black, and random insert color. I did buy a pair of black and pink Jordan 10s for my daughter. So we did I think we did a twinning day one time in them. Y'all saw the beater version. Here is the newer version, Air Jordan 11 low in the braid colorway. My favorite Air Jordan 11 style, in one of the dopest colorways. I was really happy to have this. It's a great improvement over the one I had previously for my beater, but just a really cool shoe overall. Love it. All right, here's the Jordan 11 Concord Low. This is a dead stock version. This is actually the shoe that got me, like, officially got me the bug of being a sneakerhead again, when I picked it up. This is not the one I had originally, because that one was eaten by our dog. God rest his soul. Don't worry, he didn't pass because he ate the shoe. He was a very old dog. But my wife ended up replacing them later on. But I just, for whatever reason, I haven't had the heart to break these out, and I've stuck to the traditional Concords. But this was, again, low top version. A lot of people don't like low tops. I have no problem with it. Definitely like the way they did this, and good looking shoe overall. Fun story, this is actually the shoe that I was wearing when I went to meet my wife for the first time. I drove out to see her, and this is what I had on. Here is a Jordan 11 Concord from a few years ago. So this high version is actually based off the 95 PE and not the original release. So it has 45 on the back. A lot of people didn't like that because they hate 45. I liked it because it's true to the actual history of the shoe. This is what Jordan was wearing when he had it on. And I prefer to have my shoes be as close to what he was wearing as opposed to necessarily being close to what was released. Here's the Jordan 11 Low in the University Blue or UNC colorway. When the Jordan 11 had a resurgence around 2000, 2001, this was one of the colorways they came out with when they dropped all these different low tops. I was a fan of it then. Definitely picked up one when they re-released it. Again, a lot of people don't like lows. I have no problem with them. This is a shoe that if they do a high version of this in a few years, don't be surprised, just like with the cherries. Here's the Cool Gray 11 Low. Cool Grays in general are one of my favorite Jordan 11 models. I wasn't able to get the Cool Gray highs, but I had already had the low, so I was going to be grateful and thankful for what I already had. The shoe pretty much has all the elements of the Jordan 11. cool gray high that was released just in a low top form. Um, you know, gets the job done. Cover it with your jeans just right, and it looks like a high. So I definitely forgot I had these. These are the Jordan 11 in the iridescent green colorway. From far away, it looks like a Concorde. Um, but if you look at it closely, the outsole is iridescent, so all the colors should be coming in, as well as the um, I don't. Well, the patent leather. I believe the patent leather is iridescent as well. It may not be, but it's such a color where sometimes it looks black, sometimes it looks green. There was a lot of confusion around this shoe when it first dropped on what color it was going to be. I had a pair for me and my wife, so we would do the twinning sometimes. Nice summer shoe, especially when the sun hits it just right. Here is the Jordan 11 72 and 10 model. This model came out a few years ago as a celebration and tribute to the season where the Bulls went 72 and 10. So it's a more premium looking Jordan 11. You have the metal-like Jumpman. You have the tumbled leather upper, and then this still had the lower cut patent leather. So again, don't be surprised if they redo this shoe in a few years, because we just had a low top version made this year. But I think it was a cool tribute shoe to that season. It captured elements of the bread Jordan 11, but obviously, with the milky white outsole instead of the red one. But I liked it. Good shoe. Now here is my favorite Jordan 11, and this is the white and Columbia version, or University Blue, or UNC Blue, whatever you want to call it. I'm just a sucker for this colorway and this shoe. When it ages, it turns lots of yellow in a lot of places. I don't like that about it. I am glad that they're bringing it back next year, because while this one isn't aged too badly, I definitely would like to double up or refresh it. This is the Jordan 11 Low in the Barons colorway. This has like the patent leather had like a steelish metal kind of look to it, and of course it had the milky white outsole. I liked it. Also had a small pair, and we used to use it to pray over my wife's belly when she was pregnant with my daughter. So that's part of the reason why this shoe is important to me. If you notice, the Jordan 11 has been a part of a lot of elements of our life. So they're important to me. It's one of my favorite shoes. So here is the Jordan 11 Low in the cobalt colorway. The Jordan 11 Low IE with the elephant print, or not elephant print, but no patent leather, has been one of my favorite Jordan 11s, one of my favorite twists on a shoe, and one of my favorite summer shoes. A lot of people don't like it. I absolutely love it. And, I thought this colorway was a standout from the first moment I saw it back in 95, 96 to, the releases now. I used to have an all gray pair when they brought these back. I think it was like circa 2008 or so, and those got ruined. But I like having this redone version of the original. And then here is the Jordan 11 IE Space Jam. So this version is done to mimic the Space Jam colorway. Ray switched out the elephant print and put patent leather on there, black patent leather. Then you have, of course, the bluish purple Jumpman, the traditional Jordan 11 outsole. Another classic. Again, I love that IE look. I love the IE feel, and Space Jam colorway just works well on it. Here is the Jordan 11 infrared black low. Um, Definitely got a lot of wear out of these. You see, these are the most yellow of any of them. For a while, these kind of became beaters for me. Was just a fan of it, because I like black Jordan 11s, and this low top version. Just it did the trick. I definitely like the elephant print back, or I should say cement print back there, with the infrared Jumpman, and just a good shoe overall. Next pair of Jordan 11s, we have the Win Like 82. I really love this pair because it's a great take on UNC, but it's got the darker blue with the Carolina, Columbia, UNC, University, whatever you want to call it, on the Jumpman. Last time I wore these shoes were at my daughter's baby shower. We got the Jeter Jordan 11 Low PE. This was a special suede model of the Jordan 11 created for Derek Jeter. I think Jeter himself has the high versions, and then they release low versions for everyone else. As a big Yankees fan and Jeter fan, this is a really cool thing to have. Two on the back. respect on the tongue. Just a cool model overall. Right here, we have the Jordan 11 cap and gown. This all black Jordan 11 is this nice premium model with the suede upper, the patent leather, and just being all black. It's something special. The black chrome Jumpman. I love this thing right here. Next up, we have the Jordan 11 in the Space Jam colorway. I hate that they call that this because this is not Space Jam. What this is the 95 PE. That's why it's got 45 on the back. In the movie Space Jam, it was a similar color shoe, but it had 23 on the back, and I think the Jumpman was a different color, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. But specifically, the model that was referred to as Space Jam actually had more differences. That shoe model had, again, the 23 on the back. And then on the tongue, instead of having the traditional Jordan Jumpman, it had Jumpman Jam. Here is a Jordan 11 in the Georgetown colorways. So it kind of works. Cool shoe. I don't love it as much as I did when I first got it. So this might be on the chopping block. And then my final pair of Jordan 11s, which happen to also be dead stock. This is the Pure Platinum or Platinum Tint. I can't remember the name of it. But this came out a few years ago. A lot of people didn't like the shoe. I thought it was a really interesting take on the Jordan 11. I was able to get it on sale because people didn't like it. I haven't broke it out, although I have some things that would look good with it. And I like the color. I like the way it looks. I like the design. And they took off the patent leather and replaced it with suede-like material, very similar to the Jeters or some of the winterized. I think they were winterized Jordan 11s they did. But yeah, I wouldn't call it a grail, but this was definitely a must-have. The Jordan 12 in the playoff colorway, this black and white with the silver accents. Oh, this is a shoe that I've wanted for so long. I was finally able to get a pair. I missed the initial drop. Was finally able to get it. Even got a pair for my little girl, so we've been able to rock these together. Just an awesome shoe. Great memories of it. Like I said, I still remember it when it first dropped. That first weekend of it just sitting on the shelves. And, I was just looking up at it and I was like, man, I wish I could get that shoe. But, now I have it. Now, this right here is one of my favorites in my collection. I don't pull it out enough, especially now that I have the playoffs. But this is the Jordan 12 Wings. This was a limited edition shoe. I think there was only, 12,000 of them made. So this is one of the shoes that actually should be worth a lot of money, not just because of hype. The shoe is designed to where the upper will rub away and reveal this wings pattern underneath. I rubbed away that back part just for my personal flair. Just a cool shoe. Definitely has playoff vibes, but with the gold hints, and I really like that. And right here we have the Jordan 13 in the He Got Game colorway, as it's known, made famous by the movie He Got Game. Classic movie, classic colorway. Jordan 13 was a shoe that it took a while for it to grow on me, but once I really got into the details, it just became something that I loved, especially this colorway and some of the colorways you'll see in a little bit. Here is the Jordan 13 from the Defining Moments package. Jordan 13 has always been, I shouldn't say always, after a while it became a favorite of mine, and I really like this. I really like the Defining Moments package in general. Initially, I wasn't sure about it, but then I kept thinking about myself when I was a kid, when the original package came out, and how that version of me would have loved to have had it. So while this isn't the original, not the original shoes, it was a great tribute to that, and that's what made me pick it up. The Flint 13s, this was easily my favorite Jordan 13 model. I'm a sucker for models that reflect that UNC heritage. Living in North Carolina, loving the Tar Heels. And this shoe just, the gray and the blue just pop. It just works. So glad they brought it back, and so glad they did such a good job with this retro. So forgive me, but I don't remember the name of this colorway, but I picked up this in, I think, 2014, 2015 time. I really liked the gray, white, and red on it. The original version of this shoe, which was not an OG color, had, I think it was a darker red. It was almost a burgundy or maroon. They switched it up on this release. A lot of people didn't like that, but I was a fan of it. While I love burgundy and everything, I do think that the hits on this shoe just work well together. And it was one of my favorite 13s to wear. It's been a while. I see that the hologram is fogged up. I might have to see if I can work on that to bring it back, but just a cool model. And then ending the original 14 models that Mike played in, this is the Jordan 14 from that same Defining Moments package. Um, the leather on this shoe is phenomenal. It's probably the best the 14 has felt or looked. It's very similar to, the Last Shot colorway, but of course it's got the gold accents. Um, really cool shoe. It's still dead stock. I definitely need to break it out, but really like it. I definitely forgot I had these. These are the Air Flight 89 in the Rucker Park colorway. Um, the Air Flight 89 is a cool shoe in general. Has a lot of the same DNA as the Air Jordan 4. As the Jordan 4 was initially going to be the lead silhouette on the flight line. And technically speaking, this is actually a low top version of the actual Air Flight 89. But nobody cares about that high version anymore. So it gets pretty much omitted from history. But this shoe, like I said, the tongue is designed to look like a basketball net. It's got the zip code of Rucker Park. Um, the Rucker just has so much history when it comes to basketball. That's the main reason why when this colorway came out specifically, I was like, I'd pick up a pair. Like I said, dead stock. Forgot I had it. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it. May keep it again just because of the history involved with it. Next, we got the Pata SB Dunk Low. This was a shoe that I was really hyped about when I first saw it. I thought it looked really cool. I enjoy some of the artwork and design that goes into the Pata products. And this is a shoe that actually was stolen by FedEx, or seemingly stolen. Everybody I talked to said the shoe was gone. You know, talked to Nike, talked to FedEx, talked to everyone across the board, and they're like, your shoe's gone. We're going to refund you back. I ended up writing a letter to the Nike CEO. I don't know if this had anything to do with it. I overnighted that thing straight to his butt. And then within like 3 days, all of a sudden I get an email that says like updated tracking for the shoe. So it's got a different tracking number from the original that I had, but it was just very weird. And all of a sudden I got this updated tracking. Then I started getting calls from Nike and they're like, hey, your shoe is actually on the way. We need to take your payment again because we refunded you. And I was like, that's cool as long as I make sure I get them first. So I was really happy to have them. It's a great model. It matches a lot of the different shirts that I have from their company, and this is just a comfortable SB Dunk. Right here we have the Air Zoom Generation, also known as the LeBron 1. This is LeBron's first signature shoe, arguably one of the 5 greatest debut shoes ever. It was designed to look like his Hummer that he was driving back then out of high school, and just a great shoe, just a great campaign around it. Um, it was fantastic. I slept on it initially because I was sleeping on LeBron initially, but I'm glad to finally have it. Here's the Zoom Air Generation in the wheat colorway. LeBron broke this out during the All-Star weekend as a rookie, and this shoe was designed to look like a Timberland boot. um, and I mean, that's what it looks like. It's one of the few shoes, in my opinion, that actually look good in a wheat colorway. This pair is dead stock, and again, the Zoom Generation is one of my favorite LeBron shoes and one of my favorite shoes all time. LeBron Palmer 8s. This is a classic LeBron silhouette that, a lot of people were clamoring for. It's always been popular, even when they use it in alternate LeBron models. I had the LeBron 18s in this colorway, but the sizing was off on those shoes, so it didn't work for me. So when these dropped, the official 8s, I had to go back and get them. Classic shoe, classic colorway. Glad to have it. Now, sadly, this is one that slipped my mind that I had. This is the LeBron 8 Quick Strike in the Laker colorway. Um, Again, since the Lakers have been so bad, haven't really felt like pulling out any Laker gear. um, but I really wanted the 7s. The 8 version is cool. It's not as dope as the 7, but it's still good. I mentioned in another video that this was Grail season, and this is the LeBron James Watch the Throne. Watch the Throne is easily one of my favorite albums, even though I no longer care for one of the artists involved with it. Um, the Watch the Throne LeBron 9 was a shoe we thought we would never have. Wouldn't be possible. It was so limited when it came out, and the fact that they actually made it into a retail release, including the big gaudy lace lock and everything about it, is cool, phenomenal. I really hope that Nike does more with this. I've seen that they're going to release some more LeBron PEs and stuff that were, we thought would never come out. And I just hope they do more about that across the board, from Michael Jordan, LeBron to just all the different athletes they've had. Those athletes have had a lot of shoes that were exclusive to them. So if they can bring some of those closer to the community, really like that. Here we have the LeBron 14 and the Nike Air Mag colorway. This shoe is a tribute to the Mag and the movie Back to the Future, which is one of my favorite movies. So when they made this colorway, I was able to get this shoe on clearance. It was a must-have for me because the Nike Mag is literally one of my grails. I know I'll never have the real shoe, but this is the next best thing, or one of the next best things. There's a couple different options that give you that Mag vibe, but this was definitely a good one. All right, so here's the LeBron 15 in the Oreo colorway. LeBron 15 was a return to form for the shoes and the LeBron line. It's one of my favorite models in the line. I've got multiple pairs. This was the debut colorway, and I just thought that the look and feel of it, this used, I believe, what they were calling battle knit at the time, which was a stronger fly knit. The shoe is extremely comfortable to wear, and I just thought that it, all the different designs of it looked really good, and just one of LeBron's best shoes in his entire line. Next, we have the LeBron 15 in the graffiti colorway. This is a colorway that mimics the LeBron 4 graffiti, and it's on the 15. Again, the 15 was part of the LeBron watch, so they used to put a lot of different classic LeBron colorways, Nike colorways, Jordan colorways, and just colorways in general on the shoe. Now, because this one does have graffiti, I decided to put my own messaging on the shoe that was for things that were important to me, important quotes, striving for greatness, like LeBron says, and then on this side, the date that my daughter first said, Dada. My final LeBron 15, this is the black and gold pair, or championship pair, whatever you want to call it. It's all black. It's got the gold highlights, and then if you might be able to see within the battle knit, it's got a little gold thread that's reflective in there. Again, I thought the LeBron 15 was a phenomenal shoe, and just adds to that legacy. So here's the LeBron 16 in the Buzz Lightyear colorway. The 16, I wasn't a huge fan of it, especially compared to the 15. I liked some of the things they did, but in some ways, I felt like it was a step backwards. It did feel like this was one of the earlier LeBron, where they were trying to trend towards the lower profile and the more casual look of the material and the appearance. Of course, it's hard to look casual when you have all these air bubbles across the bottom, but you could tell that that's what they were moving towards with this one. And then here's a LeBron 17 in the Oreo colorway. The LeBron 17 featured the knit posit, which was, an even stronger version of the fly knit that was supposed to be similar to like the foam posit, where in terms of how it was created, as well as how it warps it to your foot as you wear the shoe. The LeBron 17, this is the I Am King was on the tongue of it. Again, I think it was an improvement over the 16. Again, I don't think it's as good as the 15, but I think that they were on the right track, at least they temporarily. So next up, we have the LeBron 17 in the LeBron Watch Jordan 6 infrared colorway. 15, 16, and 17, they did the LeBron Watch, which was where they would put classic Nike colorways or silhouette designs on LeBron shoes. They had a LeBron that looked like Ken Griffey Jr. They had LeBron that looked like a classic Nike box, some Deion Sanders, so on and so forth. So this LeBron was designed around the Jordan 6 with the infrared. You see a lot of the Jordan elements on there. You have the lace lock, but it has the Dunkman logo on it. You have the tongue that has the LeBron 23 on there. And like I said, it's just in the infrared colorway. I feel like they could have done more with it to connect those themes beyond these tongue elements. But overall, I always liked the LeBron 17. And I thought this was probably one of the better colorways of the shoe. This is the LeBron Cross John Elliott Icon shoe. This was a collab that was done to create a more lifestyle version of the LeBron model. I think it did a great job just capturing that. It's a very comfortable shoe, looks good. It has a see-through mesh that makes sure your sock game is on point when you wear these. This is the all white colorway. I would prefer to have the OG white and black colorway, but that's the hardest one to get. This is the LeBron Soldier 12 in the 25 straight colorway. The 25 straight is in relation to the epic moment or LeBron's coming out party where he scored 25 straight against the Pistons and ended up knocking them out the playoffs. That was originally on a pair of his Soldiers, and on this Soldier 11, I'm sorry, Soldier 12, they decided to overlay that colorway. This Soldier 12 is very similar to the LeBron 15. That's part of the reason why I like it. It's also similar to the Soldier 10, which LeBron won the championship with in Cleveland. Next up, we got the LeBron 18 in the Lakers championship colors. This is where he won the championship with the Lakers in this shoe. I always thought that LeBron 18 was a very nice shoe. The air bubbles on the tongue was kind of excessive, but the air bubble unit back here combined with the Zoom Air, definitely a comfortable shoe. Very cool model that is very close to getting towards what the LeBrons have moved to now. One of the coolest LeBron collabs and coolest collabs in general this year, the LeBron James, I think this was 19 Fruity Pebbles, was a really cool release. The low version the 19 looks a lot better and is a lot more wearable than the high version, especially in a casual sense. And then just the Fruity Pebbles has always been a theme that they've used on LeBron's, but this was the first time they truly had the Flintstone licensing, and they took advantage of that, especially with Space Jam. And I think it's a really cool shoe. Did a great job with it. Next up, we got the Trainer 1 Special Edition. This is a shoe that came out that just updated the Air Trainer that Bo Jackson used to wear for kind of like a modern audience. I really liked it when it dropped. Again, another shoe I was able to get on clearance because it seemed like a lot of people weren't feeling it until after the fact. But I really like the way they did it. I like the iridescent paneling and just a cool update to a classic. And then here's the other colorway of the special edition trainer that I have. This is the lighter lilac looking color. There's a third colorway that I really wasn't feeling that much, so I skipped that one, but this is the last one. Again, able to get it on clearance. It's dead stock, but because I haven't really had a chance to wear it, probably wear it sometime this coming spring, but another cool shoe. So here is the Nike trainer itself in white and gray colorway. The Nike trainer was the first shoe that Bo Jackson wore, and one of the more popular shoes that he wore. It wasn't officially his signature shoe, but again, people recognize it as Bo Jackson's shoe even to this day. The trainer line started the cross training. John McEnroe also wore a version of this shoe. Classic shoe. I really like this colorway, and I'm glad to have it in the collection. This was definitely an unexpected release this year. This is the Air Bo Turf. This was actually Bo Jackson's official signature turf shoe that he wore when he played for the Raiders in the NFL. As a big Bo Jackson fan, when I found out this was coming out, definitely wanted to make sure that I picked it up. Glad to have it in the collection. Not sure when I'm going to wear it, but again, it's a piece of history. Next, we got the Nike Air Structure. This is a classic OG color and shoe. This one, it was in the same vein as the cross training shoes. I wanted the OG colorway, but when I couldn't get it, next best thing would be this, black, gray, and white, very Raiders-like, which fits in the time frame. Also very similar to the SC Trainer. Just a cool shoe. Got to wear it a few times. Need to break it out some more. The Air Jordan MA2, one of Jordan Brand's more successful lifestyle shoes. I was put on this shoe by the videos of Talks by TJ. She made the shoe look dope. I've seen a lot of dope colorways of it. I like this one. I even bought a pair of black and pink ones for my daughter. We haven't had a chance to wear them together, but she wears hers all the time. They're extremely comfortable. It's probably one of the most comfortable shoes in my collection, so I definitely should pull it out more often than I do. Here's the Air Trainer Low. This is essentially based off of the Bo Jackson SC trainers and some of the trainers in that line. It was just a low top version that they came out with. Again, I love Bo Jackson. I love the SC trainer, and this was a nice low top version that I could use for just casual or sports or just whatever. That's what cross training is for. Right here we have one of my grails. This is the Bo Jackson Broken Bat SC trainer. Again, Bo Jackson is my dude. I love the SC Trainer. It's one of my absolute favorite shoes ever. And, I got it on accident because my dad got me something else. I couldn't fit it. So then he got the SC Trainer instead for me. And I fell in love with it from then on. I just love the way this shoe looks. It's just a clean model. And this one has the little NES looking guy breaking the bat. Number 16 on the back. Bo Jackson's Royals number. And just a cool shoe. Another Bo Jackson SC Trainer. This is in the Auburn colorway, his alma mater. This is a classic, one of the more popular colorways of the shoe. So if you're going to have SC Trainers, you got to have this one right here. And my last SC Trainer, which is the alternate Raiders, is what I'm going to call it, because it's not the OG Raiders colorway, but it definitely still gives those Raiders vibes. Really like it. Again, what can I say? It's an SC Trainer. It's in Raiders colors. Perfect. My first pair of Kobe's, rest his soul. This was the Dusty Canyon version. Dusty Cactus version. Much like Michael Jordan, who used to remake his shoes in colorways that matched teams he demolished. This shoe was a tribute to Kobe whooping the Spurs, and they used the Fiesta colorway on it, which is part of the reason why I got it, because, again, I am a Spurs fan, so it looks good with Fiesta stuff, even if it's meant to troll us a little bit. The Kobe 9 was an excellent model, one of my favorites all time. I hate that he's not here anymore, because he looked like he was really trying to do a lot of good stuff with his voice. But this was an excellent model, and glad to still have him. The Mamba Curio Kobe 11. This is my last pair of Kobe's. I really like the way this shoe looked, especially with the black and pink. It gave me flashbacks to, Bret the Hitman Hart and the Hart Foundation, and even now with the Acclaimed in AEW, reminding us that real men can and will wear pink. The BB4 was more or less Vince Carter's shoe, and I was a huge Vince Carter fan in high school, and I had to have these when they dropped. I didn't have this colorway back then. I had the white and silver one because I preferred the white version. I had the white Vince Carter jersey, but when they came back around, finally picked up the black one. This is another shoe that was on Nike ID back in the day. I used to spend hours redesigning it, changing colors, and trying to figure out a colorway that I wanted to pull the trigger on. Ended up not doing it, and then, of course, they take it off ID. Next up, we have the Chuck Taylor 70. Now, this is from the championship pack, where it was about striving for 16. This is actually a reference to Bill Russell, rest his soul. Bill Russell was arguably one of the greatest basketball players ever. Top 3 easily all time, if you know anything about basketball. One of the greatest players ever, and an even greater man. Bill Russell did so much for not just NBA players, but the black community and the community as a whole, that it's a shame that he wasn't treated better and honored the way he should have been throughout his life. The very first Nike ID creation I did. Now, Nike ID's been around a long time, but I never pulled the trigger on anything until I did these. I did these in honor of my daughter, and our heritage. So they're built on the Kyrie 6, which was the Kyrie that was designed to look kind of like the Yeezy. And at the time, that felt better than it does now. But with the colors, I used an inverse of the colors of the flag of Gabon, as I did an ancestry test, and it says I share ancestry with people from there. So that's where my family probably originated from, in Africa. So that's cool to know. But anyway, on the tongue, we replaced the Kyrie logo with an H symbol for my last name, the number 6, which is my favorite number. The shoe is designed to be very similar to the flag of Gabon. So the outsole looks like clear right now, but it actually glows in the dark. When it glows in the dark, it turns green. On the flag, there's green, and then there's yellow. I couldn't do a yellow midsole, so instead I did yellow speckles along with the translucent back panel right here, which goes yellow, green, and blue, which are the colors, then all the way up to the collar, which is blue. On the other shoe, it actually has my daughter's birthday and a couple other little details. But this, like I said, this was the first Nike ID thing I put together. I really like it. Need to pull it out more often. A lot of y'all don't like hybrids unless they're collabs or something. So this was the Don C Jordan 312. This was his collab with Jordan Brand, so it has the Just Don on there instead of the Nike, or I think it says Nike or Jumpman, whatever it says on the regular one. This was the Billy Hole colorway from the movie White Men Can't Jump. This shoe combines a couple different Jordan models as well as another Nike model that Michael Jordan wore. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now, so I'm not going to say it. But, you know, I thought the execution of this shoe was really good. It captures those elements of the Jordans in a good way. And, you know, like I said, I always thought this was a really cool looking retro. And apparently, you know, people agree because Nike's still making them and making new colorways. I think new colors are coming out this year. The first of the anniversary pairs, I have the Jordan 31 here in the bread colorway. This was a really cool take on the idea of bringing the Jordan 1 into the future. You have the faded swoosh into the fly weave, or I don't think it was called fly weave on this one, but it's that pattern just showing, you know, how it transitions from the swoosh to the Jumpman. You know, I just think it was a clean version, clean colorway, and did a good job of capturing past and future, and with the band at the bottom. And here's the Air Jordan 32. When the 32 dropped, these things were everywhere. Not this colorway. This colorway was very hard to get, but just in general, like 32s, they had a huge push for that, more so than some of the other ones I've seen, from just the lows, NBA players wearing them, and everything. So the shoe was very hard to break in, so it wasn't a good shoe to pick up if you weren't going to wear it a lot, unless you know, obviously want to size up. But again, I thought this was an awesome launch colorway. It's a little bright for me. I've only worn it a couple times because of that, but you know, you always get looks and everything when you do bring it out. Here we got is the Air Jordan 33 Low in the white cement colorway. Initially, I had the high version of the Air Jordan 33. Ended up getting rid of it and came back with the low. I think the low captures the look of the original 3 a little bit better. I do wish this panel right here had the elephant print on it. I mean, it does have elephant print, but like the darker gray and black elephant print like the normal 3, just to help continue that legacy a little bit more. The 33 is an interesting shoe. This simplified the system as opposed to the high version, but it's still basically the same system. Nice to have. I've been trying to have at least one of each new 30 anniversary model in my collection, and we'll see how that goes going forward. Now, this is definitely a shoe that I didn't exactly forget I had, but it doesn't really come to mind that often. This is the Jordan Future. Y'all went outside, but these shoes were everywhere when they came out. They were extremely comfortable. They had an interesting look. You could dress it up or dress it down, especially with the more premium versions. And then one of the best things for 11 fans was the fact that it did have an 11 outsole, so you could use that as a replacement for your 11s that needed some work if you had that issue. We got more white and gold here with the Jordan 36. This shoe is one of my favorite of the updated anniversary legacy Jordan models. I think they did a really good job with incorporating elements of the 6, but also updating it for the new generation, as well as including a lot of different Easter eggs and whatnot in the shoe. Here is the Air Griffey Max. This is Ken Griffey's first signature shoe with Nike. It's one of my favorite models from the 90s. Has special memories for me. I wore this most recently when I was playing softball for my company softball team. Again, the Jordan 7 cleat wasn't allowed, so what's better than Jordan 7 for playing baseball? Some Griffeys. Here we have the Zoom Air Flight 96. Back then, Nike used to do, just like they do yearly versions of Air Maxes, they used to do yearly versions of their signature basketball shoes. And this was the one for 96. Technically, it's Penny's shoe. He wore it during the Olympics, but of course, other players wore it. And he didn't wear this colorway, but this is one of the colorways that I really liked. And I had a takedown version of this back in the day as a kid. As I mentioned before, I've liked a lot of teams, but I was definitely a Spurs fan. So I was definitely a fan of the Command Force. This was David Robinson's shoe. I just thought it was clean. Again, black shoe. It's got the Fiesta colors in it, with the pink and everything, and the teal. Just a cool looking shoe. Very high, especially for now. This was Nike's answer to the Reebok Pump. There's a pumping system. It definitely doesn't work as well as the Reebok pump, or as the marketing ran, I should say. It's definitely not as good because the Reebok pump had great marketing. But I always thought this was a cool looking shoe. Here's another Jordan 312. This is in the Laker colorway, and this is the non-collab version. So there's no Just Don or Don C branding on it. It's just the standard Nike. Again, I don't mind hybrid shoes. I thought this looked good, especially in this Laker colorway. I thought it looked good, and I picked it up. Another shoe from the championship series of the 16. This is Dr. J's Converse All-Star Pro model. Just a classic silhouette, classic shoe. This is dead stock. I've never worn it. I don't know if I will wear it. I do have, actually, I probably will wear it because I do have some Dr. J gear that I could break out, and I can make it work. It's just, it's an update to the classic Chuck Taylor model, but with a basketball focus. And Dr. J wore this throughout the 70s and into the 80s, and this was the signature shoe he was wearing when he won his NBA championship. We got the OG Nike Up Tempo or the Big Air, as some people like to call it. This was hugely popular back in the day, or at least the takedown version was. Most people couldn't get their hands on this one that Scottie Pippen made famous, but the takedown version was everywhere. I didn't like the takedown because it wasn't the same without having all the air bubbles. The takedown version only had one air bubble. This was just a cool shoe, man. I'm really hoping one day that there's been some rumors that they might do a version with Pippen's name on it. I mean, we've seen the Supreme variant, we've seen the Wilson variant for the guy who actually created the shoe, and I would love to see a variant for the guy who made it most popular. And here we have Ralph Lauren Polo low top casual sneaker. I can't remember the official name, it may just be a sneaker, but it's this silhouette has been used on countless shoes across countless brands. Nike's done it with some of their canvas joints I used to have back in the day. Adidas, of course, so everybody's done a shoe like this. So with me being a big Polo fan, just want to pick up a pair. I like the color. The tan is, it's a good tan, and it goes with a lot of stuff that easily dress up, dress down, so on and so forth. This is the Asics Gel Light 3 OG with the Nice Kicks colorway. This is a collab where this shoe is designed to be basically look like Neapolitan ice cream. I can't remember the exact term. There's a Japanese word that they use for it. This is a really cool colorway that I liked. I've been a fan of Asics for a while, but I never really picked up any pairs. I remember when I was a kid, my dad, who was the reason why I have all the shoes and I'm into shoes the way I am, he swore by Asics and Hirachis, and he had a pair. And, so I always want to pick up different pairs, but never really got around to it, finding colorways. But something about this colorway really popped for me, so it was a must-have when I saw it. Here we have the Pharrell Tennis Shoe. This is a lightweight shoe from Adidas, very casual focus, very clean, good summer shoe. This is actually a shoe that I wore to my rehearsal dinner before me and my wife got married. Wow. Well, that pretty much wraps up my entire sneaker collection for 2022 going into 2023. If I'm going to get anything new, I'm definitely going to have to get rid of some stuff because my collection is a little bit out of hand. But with that said, I've been That Dude Curtis. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, stay copping kicks. Sneaker boy, all about them sneakers, boy. Got all types you like, from Nike to Adidas, boy. Sneaker boy, all about them sneakers, boy. I keep a clean pair.